Fried rice first developed in the Sui dynasty as rice stir-fried with leftovers in rural villages. This practice of combining ingredients made its way to the palace of Emperor Wen, where his master chef eventually presented an elevated version of fried rice made from ingredients found only in the pantries of the imperial kitchen. A legendary gourmand, Emperor Wen's love of fried rice sealed its status as an epic dish, on par with the rebuilding of the Great Wall of China and reducing the Gini coefficient during this brief dynasty. These days, fried rice has an almost infinite amount of combinations incorporating proteins, vegetables, spices, and herbs. Fried rice can be found on menus from Japan, Korea, Southeast Asia, America, and Latin America. Today, this gourmand will be making a fusion of Chinese and Indian turmeric fried rice with chicken bits. We'll start first with spices, oil, and a bit of dairy. For spices, we have turmeric, salt, white pepper, black pepper, coriander, cumin, and Chinese 5-spice. These measurements are the bare minimum for 1.5 cups of rice. You can be more generous with the black pepper, coriander, and cumin. For oil, we'll need some vegetable oil, but feel free to use olive. Lastly, for the bit of dairy, about 1 to 1.5 tablespoons of unsalted butter. For ingredients, diced green bell pepper, diced Roma tomato, finely chopped garlic, and chicken bits from 1 chicken thigh with the skin diced up as well. Dicing and finely chopping ingredients allows more flavor to release as they are being cooked in heat. For this session, I used a Japanese steel 6-inch chef knife and a hanetsuki, which is a Japanese deboning knife. Most gourmands and chefs love deboning knives. And the star of this plate, weighing in at 1.5 cups, the sometimes sticky, at times gooey, but always sexy, steamed white rice. Start first by getting that vegetable oil in. About 2 tablespoons is mentioned. It should roll around. This is a pretty decent sized pan, so you're gonna want it to cover as much area as possible. Right. Throw in a piece of garlic to see if the oil is hot enough, and when you see it frying like that, it's ready. The chicken bits are going in with all its skin. It looked a little compressed inside the container. Here goes the garlic. Roll the oil around. Start stirring. Fried rice is a dynamic plate. You should always keep stirring so it doesn't burn, it doesn't stick to the bottom, and it'll evenly distribute the heat among such finely chopped ingredients. The chicken's gonna cook quickly. It's not like you're baking or searing a chicken thigh with about 145 to 165 degrees Fahrenheit in the center. With the oil at this temperature, you're definitely going to want to keep everything in the pan moving. Add the Chinese 5-spice. Right. Stir it around. And the white pepper. Right. As you can see, I'm constantly keeping the bits moving around so that they don't burn. This is I think it's a 2000 watt induction countertop, and it's at about 800 right now. And so it's stirring. Right. And you'll know when it's about ready. You'll see them browning at the corners. Right. Just keep it around the whole plate. Bear in mind that all this time, the chicken fat from the skin is being rendered in with the vegetable oil. mixing in with the Chinese 5-spice and the white pepper. So now the oil is a bit flavored. Okay, so we have enough real estate on this pan to partition out. Keep it in the front, tilt the pan down so all the oil rolls down, and then put in the green bell peppers in that oil that's accumulated at the bottom. Right. You want to do this part next because the green bell peppers have a much crunchier texture. You want to keep as much of that texture without making it too crunchy, as if it were just out of the bag. Right. Pinch of salt, add a little more. Right. Always keep seasoning with salt and taste as you go along. This first part is to get the separate taste of the chicken and the separate taste of the green bell peppers. Right. Now that the green bell peppers are basically caramelizing in the oil, but not too much. I believe at this time I probably reduced the wattage to about 600 watts. Right. There was a pinch of black pepper. Just hear it sizzle. I hope you're enjoying this cooking session so far. It's December 2021, and this is probably the best time to go out with a fried rice plate. Time to add that sultry rice. I quartered them from before, and it's not as good as leftover rice in terms of it being free from moisture, but this was from 30 minutes ago, so it should be good. So keep breaking it down. You'll notice that I've still kept the chicken and green peppers on separate sides with the rice in the middle. And move it around a little bit, but don't fully mix it in yet. When you see that you've broken it down to about here, it's time to add the butter. This is about a tablespoon and a half of unsalted. And having unsalted butter gives you much better control over how much salt you're putting in. Salt is good, but too much of a good thing. Breaking the rice down helps spread the heat out softly and evenly around the butter, so you see it's soaking in for a really slow melt. We're going to keep stir frying, not yet mixing in the chicken and green bell pepper, but getting close. Now with the even distribution of the butter, we're ready to add the turmeric. The rice in the middle acts as a buffer, a separation and partition between the flavors of the chicken and the green bell peppers. Now we're going to work on distributing the turmeric among the rice, getting it ready for, you guessed it, black pepper. Black pepper is very important because black pepper increases the bioavailability of the curcumin and turmeric. With the turmeric and black pepper flavors mixed into the rice, we can now start mixing in the chicken and green bell pepper. This way, spice and ingredient flavors are cohesive on their own while blending in and harmonizing when you do start mixing it. We're gonna keep stirring. This is stir fry, right? So the more we assiduously attend to this, the more evenly the distribution of flavor across the pan. Every little clump that I see, I'm gonna break down and try to spread out those flavors and spices. There's a very subtle philosophy behind the construction of fried rice, mixing all of the ingredients that get along. Now we add the Roma tomatoes, which is the last of the ingredients. Add the coriander, stir it in a bit, and finally the cumin. We're almost done with this dish. This is where we stir the most vigorously yet gently. We don't want to break any of that rice or mash any clumps together. The coriander and cumin are a nice complement to the acidity of the tomato. As the last addition to this fried rice plate, it creates the final harmonization. And I have not stopped stirring this entire time. There you have it. And as this session comes to a close and the fried rice is being scooped into a very large bowl, a overly compensating bowl, you can see that the fried rice is fluffy, not clumpy. This will serve 2 or 1 hungry gourmand like myself. Hope you enjoyed this short session, and until next time, enjoy humor and eat well.